Hello everyone, I am the Sauce from the hit channel Sauce and Steve, and this run that you're about to see is my magnum opus. I've been speeding Bedrock Edition on the latest version on my PS5 for the past year and a half or so, a little bit more than that, and I finally got a sub 30 completion. Literally on what is most likely my last stream before college starts. But anyways, let's get into this run of my life. So this stream, I was about 3.5 hours into it at this point, and I had my fair share of nether structures, a couple bastions, and I think one fortress. So a decently, good seeds so far that day. So I was kind of not expecting the stream to really finish with anything. I had lost a lot of viewers, and so I wasn't really expecting anything much, but then I loaded into this seed. Now, the coordinates are they're not very high, but they're a little bit higher than usual, with both axes being about 150 on the negatives. And I don't actually notice them at all because I'm too focused on the shipwreck, because shipwrecks, they don't really spawn very often in Bedrock. Well, speedrunners don't use them very often in Bedrock Edition, so it's just kind of weird to even see one. But, so yeah, it's just kind of a weird seed right off the beginning. So I'm looking around and I instantly realize that it is pretty much snowy in all directions. I can't see anything else but icebergs and taiga forests. So I just decide to head over to this shipwreck and, we'll see what's in it. Typically on Bedrock Edition, the chests with the iron and the emeralds and the whatever in it, that typically doesn't spawn. It's only got, I think it's a 1 in 3 chance that it actually spawns. But I actually get lucky, and there it is, with 8 iron, 6 in ingots, and 2 in nuggets, and then 2 emeralds. And I checked the buried treasure chest, although I don't actually end up using it. I would usually check it because, usually that chest doesn't spawn, so just check the buried treasure if it has any iron, but I don't actually need it, so then I just start to head off on my way. I think I did see the igloo earlier, but we'll get to that in a second. But I start going on this, I think there it is, I see the village, and then I will eventually come up in here and check the igloo. Now, sprint jumping on ice is actually faster, so technically snowy biomes are pretty good because you can get to the stronghold ring coordinates faster. So yeah, the igloo doesn't have a basement, but it does have a bed, which actually ends up being very crucial later. But so yeah, so actually a snowy biome is, it's decently good because taiga villages have a lot of blacksmiths. But one thing they do not have a lot of is food. And it becomes very apparent that this village only has one food chest house, and it's this one, with that bed and that 9 bread. Although it does have a blacksmith. So I go over, I check the blacksmith, and it only has a little bit of armor. It's 1 gold, but overall not any food. And food does become a huge part of this run in the future because only 9 bread is barely enough to do a speedrun on. But yeah, so checking the second blacksmith, it does have a little bit more food, and it does have some more armor, which is nice because the counter to food is armor. And so at this point I have 13 iron, which is plenty, and then I rip even more from this chest. So 15 iron, so it basically a huge golem skip and some. Now this room portal is not completable. It would be if there was any iron in those blacksmiths, but there was not. So I just go back to the village and I start to play it like I normally would. I thought that this house was a bed house because I still only have 2, but I realized that it wasn't, and that this village only has 2 beds in the entire thing. So I just mine 1 log for sticks. I know there's a crafting table in here, and I start to get my tools all made up with that huge amount of iron that I have acquired through various sources. I make an axe. The only 3 tools that you really need are the axe, sword, and pickaxe, and I guess a bucket as well. But so yeah, usually one of those would be made out of stone, but I have so much iron that who cares? I'll just make all of them. And I want to find a farmer, but I actually haven't seen any villagers at all, well, except for that guy, but he's not a farmer. So I just say forget it, I'll play with 11 bread. Hopefully I'll find another village at some point, get more food from that. But yeah, so I usually like to mine 9 logs because that's just a decent amount of logs to have. It's enough for 40-ish blocks, and that's just really nice for nether traversal. And you can craft them into a boat if you don't have a hay bale like in this run. So anyways, we're leaving this village, and I throw out my emeralds because there's no farmer. So leave this village, and I actually realized that this room portal could be very juicy. It could have, this room portal variant can have up to 3 gold blocks. Now this one only has 1. Yeah, so usually 1 would spawn in there, and then there would be 2 on the outside, 1 under that lava. But this one only has 1, which is, fine. I'm not going to really be doing classic trading anyways, because it's 1.19 pearl rates. But yeah, so making our exit. Now I think at this point I start to notice that my cords are quite high, which is very good for the stronghold. The stronghold, it has hotspots, but you need to be at least a minimum of about 500 on at least one of the axes, and I'm very close to that. So do a little parkour, and then I get to this ice, and I probably should have crafted a boat here. That would be the smart play because ice boating is very fast, but sprint jumping on ice is also faster than sprint jumping on normal ground, so whatever. It's not a massive time loss. So still just running through here, and I eat 2 of my bread, and now I'm only down to 9. And I think I'll see it up here in a second, but I realize that there is another village over there, and that could be Stronghold. So this is looking very good, and I also believe that I'll see the lava pool. So there's the lava pool. There's 2 of them right next to each other, and a lava ruin portal off to their side. So I'll just take this nether enter, and hopefully that other village over there that's very close is a Stronghold village. But, we'll see about that later. So I start getting my portal build. For some reason, the snow bugs out my placement of the log. But, yeah, so then I place the water, and we'll just get our portal going. I don't actually have my splits up right now, so I'm not exactly sure what time I enter the nether. I believe I say it in the run. I think it's about 650 something, so, not the greatest, but I'm at very high cords, so there's at least that possible time save. So then it wood lights, and I am in. Now, this nether does not look good at the start. Instant basalt. The terrain is relatively flat, but it's an instant basalt, and at least you can see the edges. At least you can see the edges of the basalt. So, I have been told recently by a very good speedrunner that you should not play warped first, because bastions are much faster. So that is what I end up not doing. So I just sort of run out of the warped and not towards, out of the basalt and not towards the warped. So, and then I see some of these piglins, and I want to trade my little bit of gold, but there's a gas there, and I have had gas blow up my gold as I'm trading it with piglins in the past, so I'm just like, I'll just ignore it. We don't need to do it. Maybe I'll find some piglins later or something. So, yeah, and then we're back running in the nether. My cords are relatively high on each axis, and also I don't have a boat, so I have to get down by just simply mining, and I don't want to go back to the basalt, so I pretty much only have one way to go, which is sort of straight in front of me. And so I'm just running straight forward here, and I see a soul sand, which, I don't know, it's not the greatest biome, of course. Soul sands are not the best biome, but it happens to have a fortress in it. So this is one of the better soul sands I have come across. Now all of this part that I can see, I think that this is in the run I thought that this was the bad part, or the good part, but I was actually wrong, and the bad part is actually huge. It's totally massive, and it takes up pretty much everything you see here is all the bad part, which is not where the spawners are. The good part's where the spawners can spawn, and the bad part's the enclosed sort of area. So then I kill a skeleton here just because he's getting annoying. So I have to find a way to go around the back of it. And there I see my opening. So I just sort of run towards the back direction here. Do a little bit of netherrack placing to try to speed up my movement a little bit. But it's not the greatest terrain. It's not the greatest terrain. Probably could have done that faster, but whatever. I have a fortress, so after 3 hours of no fortress, I'm kind of getting a little bit nervous here. So this play, I don't know why I did, but it actually ends up being a time save. almost every, like, pretty much all the time. Like, I never kill Soul Sand Valley Enderman. I don't know why I killed this one, but I never kill him. And he drops a pearl, which is very nice. But I figure he's right there, why not just do it? You know, it's a time save for later. And it actually works out in my favor. So this fortress in particular is on the edge of a soul sand and a soul sand and a basalt delta. So it actually will most likely have a shit ton of mobs in it, like an absolute fuck ton, because those biomes, they tend to have a lot of mobs that spawn in their fortresses. So I finally get up here, and knowing this, and knowing that I often die in fortresses, I am trying to just pillar up in the most safest way possible. And I actually remarked to myself, I don't know how I'm going to get down because I don't have a hay bale or a boat. So getting down will be tricky if I can't find my way out. But luckily, this is the good part of the fortress where the spawners can be. And I do find the spawners fairly quickly. So right about at this point, I get into the thing, and I want to place blocks above my head because blazes are fine because I have a shield, but withers, that's a problem. So I want to place blocks up there, and if the blocks are in that position where they're like just across against the roof, the withers are actually too tall to get there. So, but yeah, and then there's a giant, huge magma cube in the way. So I just decide I'll just go here, and there's no withers, so it works out. And at this point, I see that the only two mobs I can see are the two huge magma cubes and a little thing. But I do notice the spawner, so I pretty much run immediately towards it. And there's a wither skeleton that almost gets me, but I managed to block myself off just in time. And this is actually a double spawner, a very good double spawner. This is literally like SSG type double spawner. Like, this is actually like almost the same as the SSG seed for 1.16. Like, it's just that good of a double spawner. But, so I have a bunch of spawns here. I don't actually know my overall rates, but I think so far I know I have at least one rod. So I just go back. I don't actually even need to mine these out. My fortress split ends up being decently fast. My drops aren't the best, but I do have a ton of spawns. So then so I'm 2 for, I think, 3 or 4. But yeah. So at this point, I just start killing because mining the spawners out would actually would not be a very efficient use of time. Plus, I might actually get overwhelmed because there would just be so many spawns. But yeah, so we're at 3 here. And that wither skeleton that was after me, it actually fell down into the little crevice between the two, which is actually very nice. I don't know that. I kind of still assume it's over there, so I just block that off. But it ends up blocking off the magma cube, so it works out anyways. So I'm at 4, and I don't know where the stronghold is. So I'm planning to leave on 7. So I do actually start to mine out the spawner, but then I get more spawns like instantly. So, you know, it doesn't actually really matter that much. I go over 2 there, but then I don't know why this guy shoots at me. I was like very close to him. So normally they wouldn't shoot at you like that, but so I'm kind of getting overwhelmed actually because of this double spawner. And I'm at no health, and bread does not make you regen that fast. So I block myself into a hole, do the coward play, and just decide to start killing them one by one in a little chamber here. So there's one more rod. All I need is 2 more rods, so I sort of snap them in and just start to smack away as fast as I can with my iron sword, get some critical hits, and there we go. That's all of my rods, 6 plus the one that's on the floor out there. I'm not sure if I actually realized this yet, but yeah, I don't actually need to kill any more blazes. So I just have to figure out how to get out of here without dying. And I figure the safest way is just the way I came. So I break out through this thing, and then just sort of do the same thing that I did, mine into a wall, place a block so the blazes can't follow me, and then just go back to the main pathways. And I place more blocks so that huge magma cube can't get out. But there is a blaze that can get out, which is not the best, but it doesn't matter. I end up killing him easily anyways. And then there's still that same magma cube there from the start. So I eat another bread. I only have 3 more bread, but, you know, the most food-intensive, healing-intensive part of the run is almost over if I can just get out of here. So then I'm trying to make my way back, and the huge magma cube's there, so, you know, I just kind of have to mine through the wall a little bit more, but then, you know, we'll be into the tunnel down and home free. There we go. So then I'm coming back down here, and I block it off just to be extra safe, because this is very good pace. I know from the time of the video and about the time that I started that I'm leaving the fortress at, I think, under 13 minutes. Probably, I think it's at like high 12s right now. Maybe it'll be 13 by the time I get down. But this is very good pace, especially since I know I have a warped right next to the portal. And I already have one pearl, 1 out of 12. So I just mine my way down, and I don't want to take any more damage because still 3 bread. And, you know, I don't have really any way of getting food because there's no crimson. That's like the one biome I haven't seen yet is a crimson with hoglins. There are mushrooms there, but I'm not really paying attention to them. I'm just focused on getting back to the warped at the moment. So then I go back, go run through my little crevice that I found. Do a little bit more of, a little bit more okay parkour, okay movement, not the best, but you know, it is what it is. Kill the fires, because blue fire is more dangerous than red fire. And then we're just off, back to the warped. Now, at this point, I'm wondering, this is probably, I'm thinking to myself, I actually got a text from my parents that, like, we're coming home, so, you know, have everything all wrapped up by the time we get there. So this is the last run. This is the last run. So I'm kind of very nervous, and that becomes more apparent even later in the run. But I'm very, very nervous because this is the last run on the last stream. So I have to get this down by now. Eat even more food because my health is looking a little bit low. I literally have 1 bread. That's my entire food for the entire warped split. So then I trade with some more piglins, and right there, what I mentioned earlier, the gas thing, man. They'll always blow up your trades. I don't know, the only real use I can have from them is pearls, and I guess obsidian, but I already have I already have at least 1 from the portal, so the 1 cycle will be taken care of. But, I don't actually break any chests or anything because I just don't want to aggro them. Because although I do have a bunch of armor, like I said, I have 1 piece of bread. That's barely going to be enough to salvage. And then I do take damage anyways, but, you know, it is what it is. I get a fire res potion that would be useful, but I've already done the fortress. So then I throw him my thing. I think I got 3 obby trades, 2 or 3 obby trades. I got a lot of obby for them somehow. But anyways, we're out. After not very helpful trades. And so I'm basically back at spawn, back at where my portal was. My coordinates are, I don't even know if I wrote them down. I don't think I did in the chat, but I see there's my home portal, and that's all I need to do is exit. So all I need to do is find some good warp terrain, but it's really not looking good. Like, this warp terrain looks terrible because it's just right in the middle of a wall, tons of magma cubes and gas taking up all the spawns. So, you know, it's not looking good for warp terrain. But then I come into this little thing, and bam, there it is. Nice, beautiful, open, low to the ground warped. So tons of endermen will spawn, and they won't really run away anywhere after they spawn. So I just need to make my way down here safely. I could have crafted a boat, but, you know, whatever. It is what it is. So over here, I build a little enderman umbrella. It is not in the best terrain location, but it ends up working out just fine. All I need is 11 pearls from this split because I already have 1. I actually build that in the wrong spot, but enderman will actually, this little enderman umbrella design is pretty much what every speedrunner uses. But I get 3 spawns instantly, and 1 of them dies pretty fast, and they all die, and 2 of them drop, which is very nice. So get another one there, and he drops as well, so I'm 3 for 4. So my blaze rates were mediocre, but my enderman rates are going crazy. Already at 4 pearls, just entered the warped. Take a little bit more damage there, but, you know, 2 more aggroed, and it seems as though the spawns will not slow down because the terrain is very good. I ate my bread even though it actually won't do anything because my health is at my hunger was at low enough point where I won't even regen from food anymore. So I'm basically doing this with 7 hearts, and there's nothing else I can do about that. But so yeah, so then I kill a few more, and my rates are still going crazy. I'm at 6 pearls already, plus 5 plus the 1 on the ground, and I don't know how many endermen I've killed, but there's only been 2 or 3 that didn't drop. So very, very good rate so far. I aggro some more. I pretty much have 2 going at all times, which is really what you love to see from a warped split, because warped is on average, I would say warped is way slower than bastions, but so you basically want to be killing endermen at all times. And I also have an iron sword, which is very nice for killing them because you can do it very fast. Iron sword does quite a bit of damage, plus it has a lot of durability, so you don't really need to worry about your tools running out. So I still just have to kill a bunch of these guys, and there's another one. So I'm at 6 pearl drops. There's 7 pearl drops right there. From this warp split in particular, I'm only saying 7 because minus the one from the soul sand. But yeah, so then we're at 9, and I only need 3 pearls before I'm out. It would be safe to leave on 13. I do I've had runs die before where I enter I've had a couple runs die before where I enter the stronghold and it's a 0-eye or like a 1-eye and I need a 2-eye, all that kind of stuff. So it would be safe to leave on 13, but this pace is not one of my faster nether leaves. I've had sub 20s before. This is, I think, a low 20 nether leave, maybe 21 or something. But to save the pace, I decide to leave on 12 and just risk it. So I'm at 10, so all I need is 2 more, and I'm not really seeing very many spawns, which is not good. But there's another spawn, and then there's that guy right there. So if both of these guys drop, I will be out. And I think I only aggroed. I think only the other guy didn't aggro, but there's one of the drops. So all I need is 1 more drop, and I do believe I have had very good rates so far, but... So then there's this guy on fire, and I think I had a little bit of trouble with him because, I don't know, he was just being stupid or something, but all I need is 1 more. And that guy de-aggro's right in front of me, so average bedrock enderman. So there's a drop, and there's a not drop, so I'm out. 12 pearls, leaving. And I have a ton of netherrack, so I just got to get back to my portal, which was really close, if you remember. That warp slip was very, very good. I don't actually know exactly what the time was, but it felt very fast, and I believe it was maybe 5 minutes, 5.5 minutes, something like that. So that's a very, very good warp split. My rates, I only needed 11, and my spawn rates were not the best, but my drop rates were amazing. So then I'm leaving here around maybe 20 minutes or so, something like that, low 20s. So now I need a sub 7 minute, sub 8 minute endgame to be out of here. And also, because I'm leaving at 20 minutes, the entire nighttime has passed, so I don't even have to worry about sleeping, which is nice. And at this point, I have no food, and so I just have to kind of hope that the stronghold's close, because I don't really know what I'm going to do if I run out of food. So I craft 5 eyes because, if it's more than 1 eye, I can use a pearl in the end, or whatever. I do have snowballs for crit bug, which is where you throw a projectile into the dragon's neck, and then it does increase damage for some reason. It's kind of a bug, but it's allowed, and it's pretty much essential for the 1 cycle. So throw an eye. It does not go to that village that I talked about earlier, but instead goes towards this, which is not the best, because taiga villages are not easy to see if you're just running through a forest hoping to stumble onto it. My fastest dig down was actually in a taiga village, but anyways, it's not the most optimal because it just pointed straight towards that taiga. So I just have to pretty much run and prage. I could have crafted a bow once again. A bow would have probably saved some time, but I did not, and it wasn't that big of a ice thing anyways. So just kind of running through here, just kind of praging to just stumble upon the stronghold village, because you can't really see that far into a fortress or a forest. So if you just stumble upon it, then that's what happens. And I saw that pig, and I was gonna kill it for food, but it was a baby pig. So I'm still on no food. Only have 4 hunger bars. Praging to run across it soon. And I'm not seeing anything that looks remotely close to a village. At this point, I keep thinking I see it, but it's just never it. And then I run out of hunger. In a speedrun, I cannot sprint. Quite possibly catastrophic, but I decide to pull a Java Edition move and death reset. I don't know if I've ever death reset in any of my better runs. I have a few sub 25s, but they've all or sub 35s, but they've all been with decent enough food, and so this was a very unusual play to have to do, but that's just how snowy biomes are sometimes. So death reset, get in there, pick up my armor, realize that, and at that point I realized I have 4 obsidian, so I'm totally set for the 1 cycle. I'm 0 for 1 on eye breaks, so no eyes are broken yet. So then I decide to go to this clearing and throw another one. And that changed angle. That my live reaction was like kind of loud because that was quite the angle change. And I basically need the stronghold or the village to be like right here. The stronghold village to be like right here for the pace to be saved. So that angle change saved this run. Like if the stronghold was further away, it would have not been sub 30. It was only sub 30 by 25 seconds, and any little time loss here or there could have just put it at like a 30:02 or whatever, which would have been tragic. But anyways, so it must be somewhere right around here. I see that pig. I kill the pig. It drops, I think, 3 pork chops. Or, yeah, no, 2. I'm watching this on very low quality right now because it just uploaded and the quality hasn't been fully processed yet. But anyways, at this moment I realize, oh shit, that is the stronghold village. This is sub 30 pace. If I hit good nav and it's not that far of a dig down, this is pace. This is actually the pace. I've had 1 or 2 dig downs that were faster, but they all died to nav. And actually, that blacksmith gave me 3 bread, which actually ends up saving this run. Those 3 bread saved this run. So overall, in total, I ate 1 pork chop and 12 bread in this entire run. It was not very good food wise, but I think I managed my food pretty well. But anyways, throw the eye because I don't know. I mean, I know springs on this village, but I'm not 100% certain, so I just throw the eye to be safe. And I've had 3 eyes thrown and no eye breaks, which is very good, which is what you love to see. So I go +2 and +2 on each axis from the dig down, from the eye throw. And here we go. We're into the dig down portion. This dig down, I think I remark at some point on this dig down that this needs to be like instant nav for this to be sub 25 or sub 30, because it really does. Because I'm at Y44 now. Stronghold is way lower than I thought it would be, and my pickaxe is almost out, so I'm getting very concerned that this run might not be sub 30. I'm sort of, in the back of my mind, I'm sort of bracing myself like this might not be it, but if it is, that would be very cool. Hit this cave, and then my pickaxe is going to break right about here. A couple more blocks on it. Right as I'm hitting deep slate. So then I have to craft another one. But it ends up being fine because the other one I actually used for the 1 cycle and it's all good. But yeah, so I'm not sure exactly what my enter is here, but I know for a fact this nav is unbelievable. Oh, and the stronghold's about within the next 10 blocks or so. But this nav is unbelievably fast. I actually think it's a dud because dud strongholds typically have like 1 library and not very good rooms. And as you saw, multiple of those pathways right off the start were just instantly not usable. Like that middle does not look good. It just looks like it goes off into nowhere, but actually it goes somewhere, right into the portal room. Only 20 seconds of nav later, basically the cube nav, and I'm in the portal room. And then I block it off because silverfish have cost me portal rooms in the past. And it is a 0 eye, so fortunately no eyes broke, and I left on 12. The high roll paid off, and it is a 0 eye. So I'm entering the end a little bit over 27 minutes, which is my fastest by far, simply because the nav was so good. So I have to prepare my inventory here. Need lava. I don't know why I throw out the netherrack. I need a ton of blocks, and I have a little bit of trouble doing the blocks, but anyways. So then we have to get up here. It's not the best end spawn. I don't actually have any blocks in my hotbar, which is why I shouldn't have thrown out the netherrack, and then I look at an enderman. But it's fine. I just hit him once and he goes away. But yeah, so I have to do the 1 cycle here. I know the time is very close. I think I'm at like low 28 right now, like maybe 28 minutes and 10 seconds. So I have to pretty much do the 1 cycle and, not mess it up, or, not mess it up too badly. And just make sure that I'm eating my food and all that stuff, keeping my health high enough to be able to survive it. And there I see it, the perch. Swoops down. I only have 3 snowballs. I've missed on 3 snowballs before, but I actually hit it on the first one, which is very unusual for me. In my most recent PB, I missed 1 cycle like a shit ton of times. So I'm happy to actually have finished that. So then I place a bed because I have no way of stopping fall damage. I build up and get hit by dragon acid. Hooray. But it's fine. I have one more piece of bread. Saves the run. Have to pillar up and go place the lava. So now here becomes one of the biggest misplays of the run. It could have saved about 30 seconds. I missed the bed, so I barely have any health. I think I regen up to 1.5 hearts, and then I place 2 beds, and I don't blow up the third one because I think my health will be low enough. Because I have 1.5 hearts, each bed does half a heart, so you would think that that would kill you, but I guess my armor protected me enough to where I survived. And then I walk in dragon acid like a total idiot. But anyways, I'm on half a heart, no way of regenerating because my hunger's down low enough. But I just have to kill the dragon, so I run up.
Is it dead? Yes! 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 1240! Let's fucking go! 2940! Ah! Let's fucking go! Yes! Holy fuck! Yes!